talking about dating, right? Because we all know it can be a little hard these days, or so I've heard. But when you throw politics into the mix, is that a deal breaker? Well, according to our next guest, more than half millennial men and 3/4 of millennial women don't want to cross party lines when it comes to dating. But Kate O'Connor says that there's a way to navigate it. So we've got our matchmaker here with It's Just Lunch. Kate, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is always such a hot topic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's almost 2020, so everybody better buckle up.
So now is the time to have those conversations, perhaps, especially even if you're already in a serious relationship or married.
If you're in a serious relationship or married, you definitely need to have a conversation. But if you don't see eye to eye and you go head to head, maybe just leave it off the table for a little bit.
Okay, so when you're starting to date somebody, how important is it that the political views match up?
I would say at first you need to know, is this person anyone I even want to consider dating?
Okay.
And then once you get to know each other, you've built the trust, open up.
So don't ask about it on a first date.
No, don't be like, hey, who'd you vote for? Because that can definitely get very heated. And just have fun, you know. It can definitely turn things sour.
There is, and there's so much more, obviously, to a relationship than the political views. Yes, that can cause some issues, but you want to know that this person enjoys some of the things you do or has the morals that you're looking for.
Definitely. Politics is not everything. I mean, you got to know, is this person kind? Do you love them? Are they going to be a good part of your life? And then talk about politics after that.
Okay, all right. So how do you go about crossing those party lines, though? If you like somebody, but you have these different political views, or their family has different political views, what tips do you have for us?
So I would say don't ever try to convert someone. Have respect for everyone's opinions, because everyone has a different opinion, and you can be liberal and not completely be on the same side with every single subject. Same thing with Republicans. So as long as you guys have an open and honest conversation and just have respect, it's going to go a long way.
Well, and also I think you see that a lot, that there are such extremes, and somebody says something, and even if you're just trying to have a conversation and playing devil's advocate, they may just be like, even if you're already married or whatever, they'll get so upset with you because it's like, why? No, this doesn't make any sense. So you really just either have to know whether you can deal with that, right? If that's somebody, or just be honest with yourself, really, about how you're feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no harm in that. And if it's one of those things where you guys can't have the conversation, then maybe it's just move on to let's talk about sports instead. You know, there's other things. Politics is not everything.
I was telling Kate earlier, a lot of times what I'll do is my husband will say something, and I don't really like to get into it, and I just listen. All right, so what are we doing tonight with the girls? I just don't even try. Like, just let him vent and get it out. And then let's just move on.
You're still being hurt. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to change anyone's mind. You're not going to change their opinion. But if they want to vent, let them vent.
Well, and you had a really good example of a couple that has differing party affiliations.
Oh, yeah. George and Kellyanne, if they can do it, then anyone can do it. It's just putting it off to the side and focusing on your relationship, for sure.
And you talk about George and Kellyanne Conway.
Yes.
I mean, we see both of them all the time. And to me, it's always amazing when I found out that they were married. It's like, how do you do this?
Especially the Twitter situations. Like, what happens when she gets home from work? I just think that's interesting. But they do it, and they have kids there. They've been together for a long time, so.
Any tips for anybody dating just going into election year? Because it is going to be harder to avoid it.
I would say if it's something that's very important to you, then you can talk about politics without being very direct and blunt. Like, you can talk about what you are passionate about. Sometimes that is with politics. But that's a good way to kind of figure it out. You can talk to somebody too and kind of get an idea of where their views are. So just be open, but you know, don't expect everyone to have the same views as you, because everyone is completely different. But
I think that's the big thing.
Yeah,
everybody is entitled to their thoughts and opinions, and you just be respectful of it.
Definitely.
I think that goes for a lot of us in relationships when it comes to politics. Where can we find more about you?
Go to itsjustlunchdc.com and you can find out all about us.
Perfect. Kate, thanks so much for being here. Good luck to everybody dating out there.